Hello. We want to give you our deep greetings and blessings on Swami's upcoming birthday.
And it's such a joy as the years go by. When Swami left the body, his presence with us seems to grow stronger and stronger. So on the anniversary of his birthday, May 19th, it's a good time to really try to open our hearts and our minds and feel his blessings.
You know, I just finished writing a blog on Swami's birthday and some of his wonderful qualities: kindness, divine friendship, expansiveness, and so on. There are so many aspects to Swami and facets to what he is and what he did in this lifetime. And we could talk about many of those. But I thought for this short little talk that Devi and I are giving for this year's birthday anniversary of Swamiji, to talk about how he dealt with adversity. Because obviously right now, the world is seeing a lot of adversity, and we've been in connection with our Sangha in India quite a lot lately. And of course, you know that the pandemic has really flared up there. And then they just got hit with a cyclone, and we're getting videos from our friends there of flooding going on. So I thought that it would be helpful to just touch on how Swamiji dealt with adversity and to reinforce the fact that Ananda, by extension, is doing exactly what he and Master would like us to do. Honestly, I think he and Master are very proud or gratified with the way that Ananda people are behaving at this time. But let me come back to dealing with adversity. Swamiji, of course you know, dealt with tremendous adversity. Many outside forces trying to, attack him or limit him. And not only outside forces, but he had almost all his adult life, he had physical karma, diseases and conditions that he was dealing with. You know, we feel that he was really taking on people's karma, or at least karma for the work of Ananda that was being done. One time, Devi and I, in starting our work in Italy, it was a very difficult first winter there. And when Swami visited, he didn't really commiserate with us. He just said, no great work is done without someone's tapasya. Well, Ananda is a great work. Master told Swamiji, you have a great work to do, and a great work is not done without someone's tapasya. And Swami did a lot of tapasya on behalf of the world, but specifically on behalf of all of us who are watching this little video. So how did Swamiji deal with adversity, and how is it a model for us to deal with these times of crisis? First of all, he absolutely refused to accept the fact that adversity was unfair. One time he was going through a health crisis, and someone said half-jokingly to him, "Oh, Divine Mother is just not fair to you, Swami." And he replied very seriously, he said, "Never say that. Never ever say that. Divine Mother gives us exactly what we need, and it's always given out of love." And he was very serious about that. So the first thing is to accept what comes, not as negative, but as the gift of love from Divine Mother. Now, love can be expressed in many ways. In this sense, it's being expressed as difficulty to help free us from our karma, but also to allow us to be channels of her compassion, of her light, of her desire to help people in the world. And so always accept whatever comes. That was the first thing that Swami modeled for us. Secondly, never allow yourself, if possible, to put out negative energy. He always put out positive energy. There were many, many reasons to complain or reasons to blame someone else. What good is that? In many cases, it's an impersonal force. Who are you going to blame for that? Well, you can blame governments. If you want to blame, you can always find somebody. But he never went there. So instead of putting out negating energy, put out positive energy. And ask not, why did this happen? Or, oh, poor me. But what can I do? And especially, what can I do to help others? When we help others, our hearts expand. And through that expanded heart, then Divine Mother's qualities of love and friendship and compassion and caring about people, she needs expanded hearts for those people, for those qualities to flow. And Swamiji had a huge expanded heart. Even physically, you could see his erect posture and his heart energy leading like the prow of a ship as he went through life. So accept what's happening, put out positive energy, and then the final quality is deep, deep attunement with Master and with Divine Mother and the line of Masters behind. Because all of us, including Swamiji, struggle to a certain extent with adversity. That's the reason that adversity comes. But we are never, ever alone in having to struggle with it. God is always on our side, and Master is always there, helping us and guiding us if we only open ourselves to it. And discipleship and attunement are the way to do that. And Swamiji just was such a beautiful example of both of those qualities. So as I said, there are many, many facets to Swamiji's life, and I don't want to seem as if this little concentration on this facet is unbalanced, because I could talk about many other things. But it seemed an apt subject or an apt way to pick up this little remembrance of Swami for this year. God bless you.
Hello, friends. Well, it's a great joy to share with you today some reminiscences and thoughts about Swami Kriyananda. There's a very touching and moving shloka, verse in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says to Arjuna asks, who is the better yogi, he who worships God in an unmanifest form or in form? And Krishna's response is, very difficult is the way to worship God in the unmanifest. The yogi, is easier for him to direct the heart's natural feeling to a form. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the essence of it. And that's what Swamiji gave to all of us. He really taught me the meaning of divine love and divine friendship. And he did it in such a beautiful way, watching him relate to not only us, but to everyone. And, you know, Swami always was very clear, I'm not the guru, Master's the guru. But Master, we can idealize him, we can sort of project things onto him, but it's a little bit like the unmanifest. But Swami was God in action for us, the divine within him. And he always, how did he project this divine love and friendship? First of all, from the very moment I met him, and without exception, for the many decades I was with him, there was never a moment when he projected to me a feeling of diminished self-worth about myself. It was always relating to the God in me, relating to the highest in me. And it wasn't that I always came up to the mark, that he didn't. There were times when he needed to correct me. When he gave me the spiritual name Devi, he said, looked at me very sternly, one might almost say, and he said, I'm going to give you the name Devi, and it means Divine Mother, and you'd better live up to it. But he was projecting to me, you can do this. It wasn't like it was a scolding, but he projected to me in that moment the vibration. And he was saying, hold on to this and live it, and you will become it. And that's what he did in so many ways. I remember when he first asked me, Jyotish and me, to speak at a big public venue. And it was in San Francisco at this big, he was giving a big lecture series at a big auditorium, the Palace of Fine Arts it was, for those of you who know it. And the night before, he gave lectures all weekend, then he was going to be leading the Sunday satsang, or Sunday service. And he said to Jyotish and I the night before, I want you to give part of the talk. I had never spoken in public before, maybe little groups, but I was scared to death. And we were sitting in the front row, and he said, I'll call you up at the right moment. And as I could tell he was wrapping up his speech, and I admit with great shame that the mantra in my mind going on was, I can't do this, I can't do this, there's no way I can do this. And then it was the moment for me to go up and speak. And I literally felt Swami's energy reaching out to my heart and mind, uplifting me, bringing me up onto the stage. And I spoke, and it went easily. I don't know how well, but at least it went easily for me. And that formed the direction of my life. But again, it was like, you can do this. And not in a personal way, not, oh, you're my little sweet friend, or you're my special darling, not at all. But it was that power of the impersonal through the personal friendship and love of Swami Kriyananda that made me believe in my own spiritual value. And that's the greatest gift he could give to us. You've often heard us quote this, perhaps. He'd walk into a room of people, and in the beginning, we were just not new novices on the spiritual path. And he'd walk in and with complete sincerity, but power and affirmation, he would say, good morning, all you great souls. And at first, we would kind of look around to see who he was speaking to. But then we came to realize he was speaking to us. He was affirming our own spiritual self-worth, value, that we were not in and of ourselves because we were so smart or so eloquent or whatever, but that we were children of God. And that was our value, and that was the best part of us, the highest. And we saw him doing this with people all over the world. I never saw someone in his presence, even if it was a casual encounter with a store clerk or somebody waiting in an airport, where I felt he uplifted their energy. He made them feel something about themselves that maybe he hadn't ever done before. Okay, so now Swami left the body in 2013. But we can, by listening to his voice lecturing, by listening to his music, singing, and the way he chanted and the way he talked about Master and wrote about Master, we can feel his vibration and take it as his way of uplifting you. He often said, if you listen to his talks, he said, I don't want it to convert you to anything but your own highest self, your own higher self. And that's what he was doing with all of us, converting us to our own higher self. And we can still work with him in that spirit of divine love and friendship and try to discover within ourselves see us the way Swami saw us, the way he sees us, the way he sees you, even if you never met him. He sees you from his place in Master's bosom as a child of God. And all the rest of it is just dust on the surface that can easily be wiped away. So thank you, Swamiji. We honor your birthday. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for continuing to believe in every soul that comes to Master's ray with an open and sincere heart. We are grateful to you beyond any words of expression.